Hi, thanks for having me. It's my great pleasure to be here and share a bit about my work with Global Asian Studies. I'm Ouyang. I'm a historian of Buddhist studies, and I'm currently an adjunct professor here in the Department of Religious Studies. I finished my PhD at the University of Arizona back in 2019, specializing in Chinese Buddhism. Most of my work look at the lived forms of religion, things like sacred space and pilgrimage in late Imperial China. I also look at how these traditions shifted into the modern era, especially how Buddhism transformed under socialism in the Mao era, that's from 1949 to 1978. A big milestone for me recently was the publication of my first book. It's a study of Mountain Jiuhua. It's a mountain located in the south of China and how it became a primary seat of Dizang Bodhisattva. I look at a pretty long period from the 14th century to the 20th century to see how a deity of the underworld called Dizang can essentially reshape a physical landscape into a major pilgrimage mountain. My book was published in Braille's Sinica Latin Asia series in 2025. It's totally accidental. The inspiration actually started in a seminar course on Japanese religion when I was a graduate student. I wrote a term paper on pilgrimage to Mountain Jiuhua in late Imperial China, and I just became obsessed with this mysterious mountain. Then back in 2014, I finally got the chance to visit it in person. Even though I started this trip as a typical tourist, I was immediately hooked by its beautiful scenery, mysterious atmosphere, as well as abundant legends around the Dizang Bodhisattva there. Once I talked with local people and seeing all these amazing textual and visual materials, I knew that I had to make it my dissertation topic. That dissertation eventually grew into this book. When I first started this project, I went looking for the answers in the classical Buddhist texts, but I quickly realized that there isn't much evidence about how and why Mountain Jiuhua became so important. The legend starts from a Korean monk called Dizang coming to Mountain Jiuhua in the 8th century, but the real transformation happened much later in the late imperial period. To figure out what happened, I had to look at things that unfolded on the ground, like the local mummification practices, the evolution of the local legends around this local deity Dizang, and even folk dramas. My fieldwork was really the key here. I have been to Mountain Jiuhua 3 times now. Each trip I could find something new, such as steely inscriptions or the various kinds of material objects used in pilgrimage, such as talismans, seals, and a kind of printed documents on the water passes. These artifacts are amazing since they show the actual emotions and motivations of everyday pilgrims, which official texts usually ignore. When I talk about constructing the divine abode, what I'm really looking at is how people build the sacredness of the mountain through different phases, how it was imagined, materialized, and experienced over time. The myth and stories people told about Jin Dizang and Dizang Bodhisattva show how the mountain was imagined. The physical things people created, such as mummies, Buddhist monasteries, and material objects used in pilgrimage, show how Dizang's presence took tangible forms. The rituals and pilgrimages people practiced on the ground show how they experienced the divine power of Dizang Bodhisattva in everyday life. Overall, I don't see a sacred mountain like Jiuhua as a fixed or static place. I saw it as a dynamic process. One of the main things I challenge in my book is this artificial line between institutional Buddhism and popular religion. I think Mount Jiuhua is the best example of why that line does not really exist. And I call it popular Buddhism is a mix that blends elements from both institutional Buddhism and popular religion. On one side, you got famous Buddhist masters like Ouyang doing these classical things, such as reading and annotating Dizang related Buddhist texts and performing Dizang-centered rituals. On the other side, you can also see these fascinating on-the-ground practices which official records usually ignore, such as the mummification of the corporal bodies among the Jiuhua clerics, as well all the underwater passes that features the salvation power of Dizang Bodhisattva in the underworld. Overall, my book argues that these two worlds are not separate. They actually worked together to make Mount Jiuhua what it is today. If I had to boil it down, I want readers walk away with two main ideas. First, that a sacred space is not something fixed or static. It's an ongoing process of constant change and negotiation. Second, I want to push back this old narrative that Buddhism was in decline in late imperial China. By looking at how Mount Jiuhua was creatively constructed, we can see how much vitality and dynamism Buddhism actually had during that period. It's my great pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.